Hi, my name is Emily Talen, and I'm a professor of urbanism at the University of Chicago. I've been using GIS in my research and writing for a long time, and I thought I'd share with you one of my favorite articles, which is actually a dissertation that was written in 1921. And it's called Rural Primary Groups, a Study of Agricultural Neighborhoods. And what I like about this is it's a very early example of asking people to identify spatially where they think their neighborhoods are located. And right now, one of the things that is kind of common and in vogue is to crowdsource neighborhood boundaries and ask people to respond to internet surveys about where they think their neighborhoods are located. For example, there's something called Bostonography, and they asked a bunch of people to identify neighborhoods, and so they overlay it and they come up with these neighborhood boundaries. This person in Wisconsin, at the graduate school in Wisconsin, did a study in 1921 going around rural counties in Wisconsin asking people where they think their neighborhoods are located. And this is one of the maps that was created in this very pre-internet, pre-GIS world. And he identified the locations where everybody lives, where they think their neighborhoods are. And what he was trying to get at is what is the level of group consciousness in a rural society? And he thought he would get to that understanding by asking people to think about what neighborhood they might belong to and whether or not that neighborhood has an actual name. And so this is, again, in 1921, and what he discovered was that he thought that daily life was getting much too scattered, and he was blaming the automobile for that, which is really interesting as an insight for 1921. He asked one family, he gave as an example, one family had such a disparate existence geographically, which he mapped out. And for example, the mail and farmer organization meetings were in one village, trading took place in another village, church was in another location, milk was sent to the creamery in another location, school was somewhere else. So he was saying that he thought that the family was really getting broken down and loyalties were getting disbanded because everything was getting far-flung geographically. And the way to understand where that was happening and what the reality was to map it. And this author could have made great use of GIS, but I think it's an interesting lesson for us today in the fact that we are applying GIS as a tool to uncover the kinds of relationships that people were interested in 100 years ago, but didn't have GIS as a tool to make those associations. So I encourage you to take a look at Rural Primary Groups by John Harrison Kolb from the University of Wisconsin.